Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel. Huge, historic, amazing day. First of all, first and foremost, it's Martin Luther King Day. The most noble, honorable, amazing human being. And I think everyone should read his Beyond Vietnam speech. He was just an American hero in every sense of the word. Today, of course, also is Iowa. Trump is going to break a record in Iowa. We had record low poverty with Trump. Record low poverty. Record highs in household median income. We had a great economy with Trump. He was the least militant of any president we've had in decades. So in terms of foreign policy, it was a moral obligation to have voted for Trump. It was immoral to vote for somebody that you know is being led by Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld's military advisors. Hit subscribe to this channel, to my super chat. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Bartlett, always. My God, Paul, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough, Paul. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. And you know what? I'll try to thank everybody in the chat as well for the super chat. But thank you so very, very much, Paul. Thank you so much. To my super chat, I can't do this without you, everybody. Your super chat support is greatly appreciated. The margin of victory was 12.8 points. The margin of victory was 12.8 points. And in Iowa, Trump is going to completely crush that. He's going to completely crush 12.8 points. And that's, by the way, with virtually 100% negative media coverage. Okay, Trump has virtually 100% negative media. GB, hello. Virtually 100% negative media coverage, ladies and gentlemen. Look, actors, producers, directors, Hollywood actors spend, Hollywood production companies, studios, spend billions of dollars a year on public relations. Okay, public relations. They spend billions of dollars a year. Trump has no public relations support from media. Nothing. BRX95, hello. Gloria, Christopher, everybody here, hello. Jonathan, hello. Robert, hello. Lisa, hello. Trump has zero media support. Absolutely zero media support. And he's able to go ahead. Glenn, hello. He's able to go ahead and completely crush his rivals in Iowa by a record-breaking margin. We will have a live stream tonight. Be here for the live stream tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. I will be back at 9 p.m. Eastern, everybody. And we are going to have an absolutely amazing live stream. We'll get the official results, and it's going to be phenomenal. This is going to be a huge launching point. Tracy, hello. This is going to be a huge launching point. Trump is going to regain the Oval Office, and the phrase "only in America" will be used to describe 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, exactly. You look, ladies and gentlemen, and he's been indicted with 91 criminal charges. He has every late-night comedian trying desperately to tear him down. WC1, hello. He has Intel agents or former Intel officials, likely current Intel officials, although I think perhaps the current Intel officials see where the winds are going. I actually do think he'll probably gain more support from the government that he leads than we think. But he has every single disadvantage, and he's still up. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Lee, hello. Every single possible disadvantage. And he's still up. If I told you to run, if I told you to run a mile or a 40-yard dash with a 100-pound backpack, do you think you could do well? You think you would do well with a 100-pound backpack, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the greatest, one of the greatest track athletes, probably the greatest track athlete, one of the greatest athletes of all time, Christine Chong, thank you so much. Greatly appreciated, Christine. So wonderful of you, so kind of you. And thank you, Christine. I hope you're having a great day. Please be here, Christine, Paul, and everybody. We're going to have a celebration. It's a party. We're having a party tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Be here. Christine, beautiful day today. We're going to see Trump. I think easily by 20 to 30 points, possibly 40 points. I just don't see Nikki Haley getting 20 points. I just don't see that. Maybe 15, maybe. I don't even really see her getting 15 points. But thank you, Christine Chong. Thank you. If you gave Usain Bolt, maybe the greatest athlete of all time, if you put a 100-pound backpack on him, okay? If you put a 100-pound backpack on him, even a high school sprinter would be able to defeat him in the 40-yard dash or the 100. So imagine if Trump had a media that didn't care about who was victorious. Imagine if Trump had a media that didn't care about who was victorious. Imagine if Trump had a media that didn't care about constantly propping up the Democrat in every single contest, not just national. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen. It's like the John Lennon song, Imagine, but if American media was different. Christine and Paul, thank you. Imagine if Trump had a media that Paul Ryan had in 2012, where there were very favorable articles about his workout routine. And this is the problem with America today. People ask these questions, how did we get to this point? We got to this point because liberal Democrats couldn't accept losing. They're the ones who can't accept losing, not Trump. They never accepted for 1 second that Trump defeated them. Not even 1 millisecond, not 1 nanosecond did they ever accept Trump defeating Clinton. They wrote books, what happened. They accused him of being a Kremlin operative. They investigated it. He had every right to fire any director of any agency he wanted to. Then the circular logic kicked in. Well, he was being investigated. Yeah, he was being investigated by people who didn't like him. Well, that's not fair. You can't fire anyone that's investigating you. He should never have been investigated to begin with. President Obama's administration did not transfer political power peacefully. That was not a peaceful transfer of power. And then they say Trump didn't Trump went through the courts, and that chaos and mayhem at the front of the building did not overshadowed the fact that most of the people went in as law enforcement opened doors. I mean, you could tell, you could give Democrats basic logic, and like you can give them actual photos and video, like that young man in Wisconsin who was literally chased after by 3 people who wanted to take his life, 3 or 4 people. Then he retaliates. Then he's the one who instigated. According to liberals and Democrats and progressives on the left, he's the one who instigated the interactions. Like, what? If you're being chased, you're not instigating anything. And so, I mean, you can give morally superior liberal Democrats actual video footage of that young man in Wisconsin or of people being slowly walking into peacefully the building. They're impervious to changing their tune. They're so desperate for to keep political power. They're so utterly desperate, okay, that you can actually show them, hey, you know what? This is what's taking place. And Al, hello. And it's like their vantage point is forget logic and reason, just accuse Trump of everything and accuse conservatives of everything, and whatever sticks, whatever is logical will remain. And worst case scenario, Democrats believe things that aren't true, which actually benefits them to begin with anyway. Okay? They should never have investigated Trump with the Mueller probe, and they should never have indicted Trump because they would never have indicted anybody on the left for the same charges. There's no evidence that he told anyone to commit a crime that day in January. He performed a speech. He had every right to contest results. And this nonsense about, well, he's spreading lies. Well, you could say the same thing about every Democratic politician, and we know the ones that spread the most lies regarding Trump-Russia. All of their talking points actually refer to them. Every Democratic talking point about Trump is more apropos or better suited to describe Democrats than Trump. Oh, he lies so much. Nobody lies more than Biden. Biden routinely says, J-Spot, hello. Pink, hello. Biden routinely says that he experienced things he never experienced, that he was at certain locations, that he performed certain jobs. These things aren't like, he routinely makes things up. Never gets called out by the Washington Post and 15.657 Pinocchios. Stephen, I hope so. I mean, Trump is going to absolutely dominate. Let's hear former President Trump right now. I think this is pretty, like, right now.
Zero effect. This had zero effect. Zero effect. This is tremendous. Well, as they say, you're very hardy people. I've heard that. You're hardy people. We like hardy people. And hello, Iowa, one day from now, we're going to win. Iowa's first in the nation caucuses. We kept you first in the nation. In a historic victory, a victory that will echo throughout the country and all around the world. Tomorrow, January 15th, I need each and every one of you to get out. Everybody, you get out, just get out and vote. You got to bring your friend. You know, we say plus 10, so plus 10 or plus 2 or plus 20, but bring them all out because we have to set the stage for November. We have the most corrupt, most incompetent president in the history of our country. He's destroying our country, and we have to get it done quickly. We have to get it done quickly. We have to set the stage, and it really begins tomorrow at 7 o'clock. The caucuses start sharp, but if you could be there at 6:30, they tell me it's better because you have to be there by 7, so get there a little bit early. But it's cold, but it was cold out today, too, and we have lots of people outside that can't get in. Should we let them in? Would anybody like to give up their place and let them in? I know Jim Jordan, I think, would do it because he's such a nice man. Hi, Jim. So dress warmly tomorrow night. And by the way, it's all inside. Everything's inside, but you have to get from the car or whatever you happen to be driving into the set. But it's all indoors, so you're not going to have to worry about that. The caucus will be filled with a lot of great people. I say if you're single, you'll probably meet your future husband or wife. You'll definitely make some friends, and you'll say hello to a lot of people you haven't seen in a while. No, it's really a great scene.
Look at the difference in communication style. Look at the difference. I mean, the difference. Chantha, hello. Trump 2024 from California. Thank you, Chantha. Hanisana, thank you so very much. I'm going to actually thank people here. So, thank you, Christine, again. Thank you, Chanta. And thank you, Paul Bartlett. Look at the communication style. Look at the difference in communication between Biden and Trump. Biden, you can barely really make out what he's saying. Every time Biden speaks, it's like so difficult to hear him because you feel for the man. You feel for the man. It has nothing to do with a speech impediment, by the way. Democrats always twist the truth into some kind of like soap opera moment. It has nothing to do with the speech impediment. You'd have to be an imbecile to think that Biden's communication problems stem from any type of impediment. He actually was fine 10 years ago. Joe, hello. He actually was fine 10 years ago. So it's just a bunch of nonsense. Democrats always, they're the ones who lie the most, and then they complain that Trump lies. Like, nobody lies more than the Democratic Party, and then people like Biden, or even like, you can look, whether it's incompetence or lies, how many times did you hear from Jerome Powell or from Yellen that inflation was temporary? How many times did you hear inflation was temporary, and then they raised it? We'll talk about that. They raised interest rates exponentially, which caused three bank failures, by the way, a couple of years ago. I think we're going to see, unfortunately, more bank failures. But you look at the difference. This is a man who can actually communicate, actually think clearly. Democrats they don't listen to Trump. They only listen to sound bites. There's not one person who despises Trump that's ever listened to more than 2 or 3 seconds of him speaking. So, I mean, it's just, I mean, you can't even understand what Biden is saying, really, most of the time, and then he's making up words. Sometimes he speaks clearly, sometimes. But let's continue.
When the concept of caucus works, it's great. When it doesn't work, as the Democrat showed you last time.
By the way, Democrats have cheated Bernie Sanders 2 Iowa contests in a row, okay? So they cheated Bernie Sanders 2 times in a row.
Good, right? But it's a mess.
So you look at what Democrats, they pontificate about democracy. They can't even run a functioning primary. Democrats can't even run a functioning primary. Okay? So they have literally, and then you have Bernie Sanders. I really can't stand this man now. He's coming out in terms of foreign policy, picking one political side over the other, ignoring an atrocity, an absolute atrocity, a human rights crimes, the most barbaric human rights atrocity that took place in October, ignoring that completely. And then saying eventually that, we have to pick Biden because Trump is a very, very dangerous individual. It's like, someone tell Bernie Sanders we had record low poverty with Trump. We had the entire I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Okay? My writing was read hundreds of thousands of times a day. In the Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, other publications. One of the things I thought Bernie Sanders would implement is a policy or policies that would lead to record low poverty. What is difficult for morally superior left-leaning pundits or Bernie Sanders or anyone to understand that record low poverty was achieved under Trump. We had the lowest percentage of poverty since poverty was recorded in the 50s. What is wrong with that? How is that harmful to anyone? That's the racket that runs Bernie Sanders. Poor people. That's what Democrats run on. Poor people. We had less poor people under Trump. We had more wealth under Trump, less poverty, and we had less wars. So why on earth wouldn't Bernie Sanders want him? Because Bernie Sanders is a tool of the Democratic Party. That's why. He doesn't care about record low poverty, which is what we had under Trump. Record highs in household median income. You can look at the St. Louis Fed. People without degrees, people with degrees, people working part-time jobs, all these different demographic groups did way better, far better under Trump. And we didn't have the inflation or interest rates we have now. What is wrong with Trump? My God, what did Trump do to you? Democrats, aside from defeating you, while Bernie Sanders was cheated. So let's continue. It's really unbelievable to me. It's really unbelievable to me how a man like Bernie Sanders, who was literally cheated by his own political party, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, was forced to resign in disgrace. You had emails showing the whole thing was a scam. And he didn't even address, Bernie Sanders didn't even address the fact that he was completely undermined by his own political party, by the political party that he's backed his whole life. The man is not an independent. He's a Democrat. And it's just unbelievable. You would think that he'd have enough guts and integrity to at least admit that Trump had a great economy, but he doesn't do that. But anyway, let's continue.
Yes, but by the way, they deserted Iowa. You know, they deserted you. They decided to go a different way, which is crazy. I was honored. Jim Jordan called me. It was very important that we stay. He's from a different place, and he felt just the history of Iowa, right? The history of Iowa was very important that it stay here. But nobody had to call me because I made the commitment, and we kept you first in the nation. As long as I have anything to say about it, and that we have a good chance of staying for 4 years, we'll have a lot to say about it, 4 years and beyond. You're going to be first in the nation. So brave the weather and go out and save America, because that's what you're doing. This is really about saving our country. Remember, your caucus location is often different from where you normally vote. So you can find all of the information you need at ia.donaldjtrump, whoever that may be, .com, okay? And with your vote, we're going to defeat crooked Joe Biden. We're going to take back our country. We're going to make America great again. Since 2016, you and I have been in this battle side by side and together, and we've been taking on the entire corrupt system in Washington like no one has ever done before. I had no idea it was this corrupt. It's really bad. It's bad. We got rid of Comey. I did a lot of things. This is a man right there that, no, we did a lot of things. Getting rid of Comey was a great thing. That was a wonderful thing for our country. And lucky we did. We might not be standing here right now. They had some bad plans, but that didn't work out too well for them. And now look at us. We're leading. By the way, we're leading in the polls by a lot, not just this poll. We're leading nationally. One just came out. We're at 71 to 9 and 11. You ever notice the fake news? They go, Haley is surging. She went from 8 to 11. I went from 66 to 71. And DeSantis went down 2. So she overtook him by 1 at 11. And the story is, Haley surges. I'm at 71. She's at 11. I went up more points than her. And the funny thing, you know, I don't have so many points to gain, right? It's that I don't have the same vast wealth of points to gain. The headline, Haley surges. Trump's doing okay, too. From the beginning, they've been throwing everything at us, the never-ending steam of, and really just a system of high-energy steam. It's hoaxes, it's witch hunts, it's lies and horrendous abuses of power. From Russia, 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 you remember that? Yeah, please sit down. Hey, look, you know what? We have so much time today. There's no football game that anybody wants to watch.
You look, ladies and gentlemen, and you look, and it's like he is enjoying all of this. He has a lot of energy. He's 76. He's enjoying all of this. He's not like with Biden, every single word is such a difficult endeavor to express. He always, Biden is, you could tell he is desperate to just, he's desperate to communicate what he's been told to communicate. There's never a moment where you say Biden truly believes this. Okay? There's never a moment where you're like, oh, Biden really believes this. He's a lifelong Democrat. He's part of a political machine. He has the talking points down pretty well. At certain points, Biden is able to kind of just get through a speech. Ursaka, hello. Thank you. Thank you to my super chat. Thank you. To my super chat, thank you so very much. Your super chat support is greatly appreciated. You could tell, like, there's no competition between Biden and Trump. One has zero cognitive issues. Trump has, see, this is the thing. Biden obviously has major hurdles communicated. Okay? Then they say, because even Democrats realize that Biden is out to lunch half the time, shaking hands with people who aren't there and bumbling and stumbling about. Then they accuse Trump of the same thing. He drank water, or he went down a ramp with difficulty. It's the same thing. It's never the same thing. It's never, ever the same thing. Oh, well, Trump's kids made billions. Their business people, Hunter isn't. They didn't have a laptop. And that their businesses weren't predicated upon Trump giving others favorable treatment, like firing a prosecutor. Oh, that's different. We've debunked all that. No, you've given a rebuttal from people who vote Democrat. The fact-checking organizations, especially for Trump's claims, they view a different opinion as debunking. So Trump will make a claim about a certain state, and then fact-check, or PolitiFact, or something fact.org will say, we spoke to these people. Or, county officials disagree with Trump. And then they'll leave it at that. They'll say, and then we rate this 5.675 Pinocchios for Trump. It's like, how did you categorically refute what he said? Well, we spoke to some county official, and that official said that the third-party tech firm, or the tech firm that found out that there were discrepancies, they didn't know what they were doing. Yeah, so you got the opinion of somebody who disagrees. Did you categorically prove that the statement was false? Or the question. So you'll have, in one state, you'll have an entire list of questions that are unanswered, and nobody has answered them. But you'll have county officials within that state saying, oh, well, these questions have already been answered. Like, no, they haven't. Just because you claim to answer them, where's the evidence? These are bizarre anomalies and occurrences, okay? If your car suddenly was no longer where you left it, and then a coworker said, "Oh well, you know what? It was taken. It was taken by the city." And then you call the city, and there's no record of it being taken. Well, that coworker didn't tell you the correct story. You need to find out where the car was taken. And that's what happened with Trump 3 years ago. So many unanswered questions that were answered in the most haphazard, irresponsible manner without any investigation at all, any thorough investigation. They said, okay, you know what? Trump is wrong. Then they say Trump is debunked. He lies. It was a lie. His false claims, Trump's false claims, his false claims. They never say that Trump Russia was debunked. They never state that all the accusations against him were false claims, all the headlines that were fake and phony headlines, all of the times they distorted his words, all the times they completely mangled and butchered and distorted context and his words and the intent. He never told anyone to consume Windex or whatever. He never told anyone to do that. He never told, literally never told anyone to do that. Never told anyone that both sides were good people. Pertaining to, Robert, thank you, pertaining to the 1930s and 1940s Germans being good people. He was referring specifically to, Republicans who wanted to keep statues up. JB, hello. Robert, JB, thank you. So, Eric, hello. So, I mean, it's like the best feeling in the world, and I'll be there with you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be there with you. The best feeling in the world will be in November. In November, when Trump defeats Mashed Potato, it'll be the absolute best feeling in the world. Because 7 years of the most hysterical, manic, apoplectic coverage of Trump will dissolve. Everybody that you know that starts raising his or her voice pertaining to Trump will have to, 4 years again, have to accept the fact that every single argument they made was complete and utter nonsense. And there's a better word for that. D. Artanio, thank you. Thank you, D. Artanio. Thank you so much to my super chat. Thank you. Thank you to my super chat. Let's continue. D. Artanio, thank you.
There's nothing. We got a lot of time today. Should we do the long version or the short version? Should we do the snake later? Because it's so appropriate. It's so appropriate, right, for what's happening to our country. But abuses of power from Russia, remember that con job? To Ukraine, to defund the police, to their 2020 election rigging scam, like that one.
America.
Nice. That was good. That was the one piece I should have left out of that first speech, right? But some of them are okay. The Washington swamp has done everything in its power to take away your voice, but tomorrow is your time to turn on them and to say and speak your mind and to vote. And we're going to take this country back. We're going to make it greater than ever before. Once you set foot in that caucus site, the entire world will be listening to you, and I believe that Iowa is going to speak loud and clear. You're first in the nation for a reason. It's important. You're first in the nation. Somebody a long time ago said this is why we want you to be first in the nation. And maybe you're a little bit different than other places, but you set something. There was something in their minds when they did it a long time ago. You know, when I think of your state, I think of two things. I think of farmers, and nobody took better care of the farmers than Trump. No president ever. And I think about politics, very political state. And it's an honor to have kept you there. With your vote in these caucuses, you're going to send a message straight to crooked Joe Biden, his radical henchmen, his weaponized DOJ, and his protectors in the fake news media. Look at all of them back there. There's a lot of them. You know, it's funny. They hate me so much. But they all show up. I can't figure it out.
You know, there needs to be a time. I think people really understand that most of media is out to get Trump and just prop up the Democratic Party. And we've never seen the more overt. I don't understand why people don't make a connection or correlation between polls and media coverage. Because Trump is far more ahead of Biden. If you just look at if you look at the correlation between negative media coverage and Trump's ascent in the polls, you have the negative media coverage has stayed the same. Trump still keeps going up. He's been indicted with 91 criminal charges. He's still up. I mean, doesn't that? I don't understand why most Americans don't see. They just don't. People don't understand how skewed the political landscape is. The fact that it would be the equivalent of Usain Bolt running the 100 with a 100-pound backpack. You take the greatest track athlete, sprinter of all time, okay, Usain Bolt, and then you give him a 50-pound backpack, even a 50-pound, 20-pound backpack. 20-pound backpack, he would defeat, I think, a great many, but not most of humanity, but a 50 or 100-pound backpack. Then you could take a high school sprinter could defeat Usain Bolt if Usain Bolt was running with a 100-pound backpack called American media or global media. I mean, that's the point. The point is Trump has this media monstrosity. Nancy, thank you. Henry, hello. Kevin, hello. I think that they're going to replace mashed potato brains, Kevin. I think Hillary Clinton is just waiting. Oh my God. Do you understand? I'll be the only person on planet Earth to have called that. Scott, hello. Nancy, thank you again. To my super chat, thank you, everybody. So, Trump is up by 1 or 2 points. We can look right here. We can look right here. Trump is up by 1.1 points. And he's facing 91 criminal charges. Do you understand how bad you have to be as a Democrat to lose to anyone indicted and charged with 91 crimes? Do you understand how corrupt? Do you understand how little the American people must have faith in you? Do you understand how little faith the average American has in the Democratic Party when Trump is indicted with 91 criminal charges? And he's still defeating the incumbent, who has reached, by the way, a record low in terms of approval. A record low. He's below Trump in terms of Trump's worst approval. And that's with media backing him. You know, when Trump was in office, I just think that when Trump was in office, Twitter, unfortunately, was his undoing. Twitter was his undoing. And, but he's not on Twitter anymore. And Twitter isn't another mouthpiece for the Democratic Party. So, but let's continue. He's still up. It's unbelievable.
Thing called ratings. We did a town hall on Fox the other night, and I guess it ended up at 7.5 million. The debate had 2.5 million people. They had a debate, two people screaming at each other. They said, "Why didn't you do the debates?" Now they say, "It's good that you didn't do it." Right? Billy Long, the great Billy Long. Will you stand up, Billy Long? Look at this guy. You're going to show all the people who've been through so much. They've been through the border situation. They've been just giving it away, selling off your jobs, indoctrinating your children, and trampling your values no matter how hard they try. It doesn't make any difference. We will never give up. We will never surrender. And in the end, we are going to win, win, win. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win all the time. Under crooked Joe Biden, our country is dying. Our country is really in a position it's never been. It's never been in this dangerous a position. We have a chance of.
He's right about that. I mean, we are in a position right now, ladies and gentlemen, where here, we'll put this in the background. We're in a position where a stock market crash is almost certain, okay? A stock market crash is virtually certain, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we're going to have a devastating market crash. If you look, here's one of the reasons why. Interest or the Fed funds rate went from in May of 2022, okay, or March, the Fed funds rate was 0.25, 0.50, less than 1%. It went from less than 1%. So you had mortgage rates around 3 or so, to 5.5%, and you had mortgage rates over 7%. Okay? That directly caused the bank failures we saw last year. And you want to talk about liars, or whether they lied or they were incompetent, the Biden's administration said that inflation was temporary. Well, they raised interest rates exponentially in the span of 1 year. In the span of 1 year. Because it wasn't temporary. So did they lie or were they incompetent? Probably both. All right? And now we have inflation going back up. So then what do? What do you do if inflation's going back up? And inflation still, for rent and food, is still high. And he caused this by going after oil companies. The oil companies sued Biden, and within the lawsuit said, you're going to cause inflation to go up. They called it right when it happened. I mean, and then you have record highs in credit card debt. Then you have issues with Taiwan and China. See, the thing with Trump, they still kept Trump's tax cuts, and they still kept Trump's tariffs. And yet they say he's, oh my God, so horrible. They had to keep those things. And I mean, before we shut down our entire economy, we were in an amazing shape around the world. We had the first president to step foot in North Korea. Our economy was running on all cylinders. Trump was negotiating deals in the Middle East. Media and Democrats were melting down every single day. Everything was Trump's fault. Even when we had a great economy, oh my God, it wasn't a good economy. It was better than at any point during Obama's tenure, but it wasn't a good economy. if we had record low record low unemployment with record highs in household median income and record low poverty. Poverty is up. They say unemployment's low. It's because Democrats allowed people to work again. Everyone sees this too. When he regains the Oval Office, every single argument against Trump will be completely annihilated. Every single argument against Trump will be completely destroyed. The whole point was, oh my God, we got to get back to sanity. We got to get back to Biden. We got to get back to Democrats. Now we're back with Trump because people know, look, the man's a businessman. He's a billionaire. He was good for the economy. The man, what is wrong with a good economy? You don't like his personality? I love when Democrats say, he's so disgusting. He's so disgusting. Oh, I'm sorry. You think Biden sniffing people's hair is fantastic? You think that's wonderful? You think overt corruption and graft and bribery is fantastic? You think that's wonderful? You think mashed potato brains slowly creeping up behind people? Hey, how you doing? Want some vanilla? And then he loves ice cream. Not for 1 second did I ever know that Biden loved ice cream or that he wore aviators until 3 years ago. And nor did I ever care. Oh, look, he loves the aviator glasses and he loves vanilla ice cream. He's so much better than Trump. And they got what they wanted. And unfortunately, it's be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for because I think we're going to have AT, hello. I think we're going to have a devastating stock market crash. You look, ladies and gentlemen, we went from less than 3% around 3% mortgage rates with Trump to 7.4%, and they might raise it. They might raise it more than that. Now, if you buy a home in Los Angeles, if you want to buy a home in New York or Los Angeles or anywhere else, and let's say it's a 2,700 square foot home in a major metropolis, that's $1.7 million in Southern California. It's $1.7 million. Okay. With the down payment, you're looking at $7,000 to $8,000 a month for a mortgage payment. You have $7,000 to $8,000 a month just so you can look at Biden rather than Trump. And don't say that Trump would do anything, his economy would be bad. He wouldn't go after oil companies. But see, again, like the far left in the country, they don't really know. They're very intelligent, very smart. There's brilliant people on the far left. They're not into economic issues. They're into economic justice. They're into philosophical issues or ideological issues. They're not into, look at the poor. And look, we had less poor with Trump, and now it's more difficult to buy a home. Exactly, WC, exactly. Ursaka, I tell you what, you give me a Trump, give me a name of Trump, I'll vote for that person every 4 years. Mortgage rates make it impossible now for people to, mortgage rates have made it impossible, okay, for people to buy a home. And then you get on TikTok or, you get 20-year-olds saying, what's going on here? This is terrible. My parents were, and you know what? I have to work all this, and then you're voting Democrat. You're voting for these policies. When AOC says we have 12 years left and Biden goes after oil companies, then you get 7-8% mortgage rates. Congrats. That's the direct correlation. But see, they don't, on every left-leaning podcast or YouTube channel, they'll never show you the mortgage rates for a 30-year mortgage. They'll never show you the mortgage rates. Because it's all like, when I was on the left, I blindly, like, without any thought, said, yeah, ban fracking. It's really bad for the environment. Then I slowly realized, oh my God, how stupid could I have become? Oh my God, what was I thinking? Gas prices are already through the roof, or natural gas. So, let's continue.
Why don't you?
World War III with weapons the likes of which nobody has ever seen before. I've seen them because I've seen what they can do. And this would be obliteration. I say this wouldn't be two army tanks running back and forth shooting. This is obliteration. And we have a man that can't put two sentences together. He can't find the stairs. See the stairs? He finishes his speech, which are very short. They're not like our 2-hour beauties, right? They wanted the long version, Jim. Remember that. But, oh, look, front row Joes. You didn't get in the front row today. Front row Joes, they follow me everywhere. We love them. How does it feel? Still pretty good. That's good. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. They followed me all over the place, 167 times or something. They've got to be pretty rich people, in all fairness. They go all over. It doesn't matter where. But I stand before you today as the only candidate who is up to the task of saving America from every single Biden disaster, starting on day one. The disaster is what he's done. All he had to do is go to the beach like he always does and leave everything alone. Leave the border alone. We are the safest border in history. It was just I gave her the position, but I gave it to her much more so because I wanted Henry McMaster, who was the lieutenant governor, to be the governor of South Carolina. And he's been a great governor, right, Billy? Great governor. And Henry's done a great job. And Nikki did a good job. She was okay, but she's not right to be president. I know it very well. The wrong thought process, the wrong policy. And honestly, she's not tough enough. She's not tough enough. These are tough people. We're dealing with the toughest people in the world. We're dealing with people that are on their game at a level that you've never seen. President Xi of China, Putin. Putin would have never gone into Ukraine if I were president. If that election wasn't rigged, he would have never, ever, not even a chance. And it was like, when I explained about loyalty, like as an example,
What the heck? Sorry about that. So, when you look at Trump's foreign policy, he would never have let it take place. He would never have let it take place. And so, you look at Biden's foreign policy, it's very simple. You tell one country that they don't join a military alliance that is an existential dilemma to their bordering, to the nation they border. End of story. It's not difficult to understand. Trump would have prevented that immediately. Okay, then you get one intel official from an allied country. Oh, Trump is a big national security problem. That's your opinion. We are voting for a different president because we want a different view of national security. It is your view of national security. We want a different view of national security. My God, how difficult is that to understand? That's why you change. That's why you change leadership every 4 years or every 2 years in Congress or whatever. You want a different viewpoint because the current viewpoint on national security isn't working. My God. How difficult is that to understand? How difficult is any of this to understand? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I will be back. The live stream link will be below. I'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern, everybody. 9 p.m. Eastern. So, be here at 9 p.m. Eastern time. To my super chat, thank you. It's going to be a party tonight, people. It will be a party this evening. Be here at 9 p.m., everybody. Thanks, everybody. God bless. Great time. And we'll see you tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Paul, and everybody here in the super chat.